Hi, I'm Nilesh Gohil from the Commodity Broker Network. In this video, I will explain how I'm able to bring you a flood of sellers who want to supply you with your required commodities. This involves a very simple three-step process. The first step is about understanding the buyer, the company, and the commodity requirements. The second step is about identifying the type of sellers you need to supply your commodity. The third and final step is about presenting suitable sellers that meet your requirements. Let me go into each of these steps in greater detail. As the first step, my job is to fully understand who the buyer is and the type of company they represent, and finally get a full understanding of the commodity they want to purchase. Once I've opened up a clear line of communication with the end buyer, I can then get a clear picture of who I'll be representing when I introduce new sellers. I'll also need to get a clear understanding of the type of company that I'm going to be working with. I'll need to do my due diligence on the buyer's company and will need to view various documents including the company's registration certificate, trading license, and an ICPO or LOI, so that I'm aware of the working procedures, target pricing, and payment terms. There will also be a need to put an NCNDA in place with the buyer directly. These documents will help me verify that I'm working with a real buyer and on behalf of a real company. A buyer mandate may also be involved, which is fine, providing an NCNDA is put in place and I have sight of a buyer mandate's documents, which shows that the buyer has been given the mandate authority to conduct a transaction on their behalf. If there are brokers involved, then again NCNDAs need to be put in place along with a genealogy to show the number of brokers involved. I typically don't work with large broker chains. However, if a large chain cannot be avoided, then I will only be prepared to work with one broker who is nominated as a representative of the remaining group. No matter how the brokers and mandates are structured in the deal, I will always need clear and open access to the end seller at all times. I will also need to get a clear understanding of the commodity the buyer wants me to locate. For this, I will need to see an ICPO or an LOI. When I have contracts in place, verified the buyer's existence, understood the details of the commodity required, I will be better placed to understand any standard questions from prospective sellers. Once I have collated all this information, I will create an information pack to send out to prospective sellers. This information pack will contain sanitized documents branded under the Commodity Broker Network. The fact that these documents will be sanitized and rebranded under my company will help protect the identity of the buyer and their commodity requirements. The information in this pack will eliminate a lot of the email tennis between myself, the buyer, and the prospective seller. The second step is designed to help me understand the exact type of seller that I need to locate on the buyer's behalf. I will need to identify the characteristics of an ideal seller and the various documents the seller must possess for the buyer to conduct his own due diligence to approve the seller. I will be working with the buyer to understand the various filters I will need to put in place so that I can eliminate all the time wasters and those that are not suitable to supply the required commodity. Once I've worked with the buyer to identify the ideal seller and have created an information pack, the final step will be to market the buyer's requirements and bring forward any suitable sellers. An intensive marketing campaign will be conducted on behalf of the buyer. A short video of the buyer's requirements will be created, and both the video and information pack will be distributed throughout the internet. I have various distribution channels for the marketing campaign. They include social networking sites such as Facebook and LinkedIn. I also have a rapidly growing network inside my own website at commoditybrokerNetwork.com. Each member gets a regular newsletter with my commodity requirements. I also own a large database of specifically compiled of commodity-related businesses. These members also receive my newsletter on a regular basis. And finally, there is my own personal network of close associates that I've been working with over the last few years. So my network reaches out far and wide to help you bring suitable sellers. The marketing will bring forward many inquiries, and through the filtering processes, I will have a selection of sellers that are ready for introduction to the buyer. Usually I'm retained by the seller directly. However, on rare occasions when the seller side is closed, I will require commission from the buyer and a contract will be put in place prior to any marketing being conducted. The terms and conditions of the commissions are individual to each deal, so they will be negotiated on a deal-by-deal basis. What is important to note is that on occasions when the buyer is paying me, they will only need to pay on the close of a successful transaction based on an introduction made by me. So in summary, once the buyer's commodity requirement is packaged correctly and marketed at targeted sellers, then there will be a steady flow of real sellers waiting for you to approve. And that, in a nutshell, is how I'm able to bring you sellers to fulfill your commodity requirements. If you have any further questions, please contact me directly at info@publicangel.com and I'll do my best to answer them for you. I truly look forward to helping you close more deals and also can't wait to celebrate our first successful transaction together. Thank you for listening.